Siddhartha Gautama, a prince born in ancient Nepal, seemed destined for a life of privilege and power. Shielded from the harsh realities of the world, he lived in a luxurious palace, surrounded by every comfort imaginable. Yet beneath the surface of this opulent existence, a profound unease stirred within him. One day, venturing beyond the palace walls, Siddhartha encountered the stark realities of human suffering. Sickness, old age, and death. The sight of these inescapable truths shook him to his core, shattering his illusions of a perfect world. Driven by a deep compassion for humanity and a thirst for spiritual understanding, he renounced his princely life and embarked on a quest for enlightenment. For years, Siddhartha immersed himself in rigorous meditation and ascetic practices. He sought guidance from renowned spiritual teachers, exploring various philosophies and techniques. Yet true enlightenment remained elusive. Finally, after meditating under a Bodhi tree for 49 days, Siddhartha experienced a profound awakening. He became the Buddha, the awakened one, and dedicated the rest of his life to sharing his insights with the world. At the heart of Buddha's teachings lie the Four Noble Truths, a framework for understanding the nature of suffering and the path to its cessation. The first noble truth, the truth of dukkha, acknowledges the pervasive reality of suffering in human existence. Suffering encompasses not only physical pain and emotional distress, but also the inherent dissatisfaction that arises from our attachment to impermanent things. The second noble truth delves into the root cause of suffering, identifying it as samudaya, often translated as craving or desire. This craving stems from our ignorance of our true nature and our relentless pursuit of fleeting pleasures and attachments. We cling to the illusion of a permanent self and a static world, fueling a cycle of dissatisfaction and suffering. The third noble truth offers a glimmer of hope. Nirodha, the cessation of suffering, is attainable. By uprooting the cause of suffering, craving and ignorance, we can break free from the cycle of dissatisfaction and achieve true liberation. The fourth noble truth illuminates the path to liberation. Magga, the Eightfold Path, provides a practical guide to cultivating wisdom, ethical conduct, and mental discipline, leading ultimately to the end of suffering. The Eightfold Path, often depicted as an eight-spoked wheel, outlines a holistic approach to living a life of purpose, meaning, and liberation. This path is not meant to be followed sequentially, but rather as interconnected principles that reinforce and support each other. Right understanding forms the foundation of the path, emphasizing the importance of cultivating a clear and accurate perception of reality, free from delusion and attachment. This includes understanding the Four Noble Truths, the impermanence of all things, and the interconnectedness of all beings. Right intention follows right understanding, emphasizing the cultivation of wholesome thoughts and motivations, rooted in kindness, compassion, and non-harming. This involves abandoning harmful intentions such as greed, hatred, and delusion. Right speech encourages us to use our words mindfully and compassionately, abstaining from lying, gossiping, harsh speech, and idle chatter. Our words have the power to wound or to heal, and right speech encourages us to use them to foster harmony and understanding. Right action guides us towards ethical conduct in all aspects of our lives, encouraging us to abstain from harming living beings, stealing, sexual misconduct, and intoxication. By acting with integrity and compassion, we create a more harmonious and just world. Right livelihood encourages us to engage in occupations that are ethical and consistent with Buddhist principles. This means avoiding professions that involve harming others, such as selling weapons or engaging in exploitative practices. Right effort involves cultivating wholesome qualities and abandoning unwholesome ones. It is the continuous effort to purify our minds and cultivate positive qualities such as mindfulness, concentration, and loving kindness. Right mindfulness involves paying attention to the present moment with an attitude of non-judgmental awareness. By cultivating mindfulness, we become more attuned to our thoughts, feelings, and sensations, allowing us to respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and equanimity. Right concentration, the final aspect of the Eightfold Path, involves developing a focused and stable mind. Through meditation and other contemplative practices, we can train our minds to become more concentrated, disciplined, and free from distractions. Section 4. Impermanence and non-self, embracing the ever-changing flow. Central to Buddhist philosophy are the concepts of anicca, or impermanence, and anatta, or non-self. These concepts challenge our ingrained perceptions of a solid, unchanging self and a static world. Anicca reminds us that everything is in a constant state of flux, like waves crashing on the shore. All phenomena, our thoughts, emotions, relationships, and even our physical bodies are constantly changing. Clinging to the illusion of permanence leads to suffering. When we attach ourselves to things that are inherently impermanent, we set ourselves up for disappointment, frustration, and grief. Anatta, the concept of non-self, deepens our understanding of impermanence. It challenges the notion of a separate, independent self that exists inherently and eternally. According to Buddhist teachings, what we perceive as ourself is a composite of constantly changing physical, mental, and emotional processes. There is no permanent, unchanging essence that constitutes our identity. While this concept may seem radical or even unsettling, it ultimately liberates us from the suffering that arises from clinging to a false sense of self. By embracing impermanence and non-self, we develop a more fluid and adaptable perspective, allowing us to navigate life's changes with greater ease and acceptance. Section 5. Cultivating compassion and wisdom, the path to true happiness. Compassion, or metta, and wisdom, or prajna, are considered paramount virtues in Buddhist philosophy, essential for cultivating true happiness and inner peace. Compassion involves recognizing the suffering of ourselves and others and cultivating a deep empathy and loving kindness towards all beings. It is not merely a sentimental feeling, but rather an active and engaged response to suffering, motivating us to alleviate the pain of others whenever possible. Wisdom in the Buddhist context refers to the insight into the true nature of reality, including the four noble truths: impermanence, non-self, and interconnectedness. This wisdom arises from mindfulness, contemplation, and ethical conduct. It allows us to see through the illusions of our ego and to perceive the world with greater clarity and compassion. Compassion and wisdom work in tandem. Wisdom without compassion can become cold and detached, while compassion without wisdom can be misguided and even harmful. By cultivating both qualities, we develop a balanced and holistic approach to life, allowing us to respond to challenges with both skillful action and heartfelt compassion.